Would you agree that sometimes some people, not some, but people are too young to get married? And would you also agree that sometimes people get married too early or too quickly? Let me just tell you why I ask that question. I came across a video of a young lady who is a social media influencer, but also she was a model. I'm not sure if she's still modeling today, but she was on, I think, some Sports Illustrated cover in 2018. Her name is I'm sure he's right, Haley Khalil. Do you know of her? Well, it doesn't matter. Haley Khalil, also known as Haley Bailey. I think that she's playing on her name. But the point is that she did a video and she said how it's very obvious that people who are very, very good at the internet would have found out by now that she is divorced. She was married for 7 years. She got married, I think, in 2015, based upon what I saw on the internet, and she got divorced in 2022. She made this statement. She said she got married at 21 years old. I'm not sure how old her husband at the time was. And she said that we got married really young. And in the time she got married, a lot of people that she knew were getting married also at the same age, at a very young age. Now, the question is there such a thing as getting married too quickly? And is there such a thing as getting married too young? I believe there is. There was a time when people would get married at 18, 19, 20, and many of those people went on to have marriages for 15, 20, 30, 40. I mean, marriages that really, until death do us part, were those marriages. And I believe the reason why those marriages lasted so long and is because there was a time where people tend to mature much faster. When I was 18 years old, I left home and I never returned. I believe I was mature enough. Actually, it was a time where people, if you were 21 years old and still lived at home, people would look at you kind of funny. I'm not sure if you are from the era, but people would look at you kind of funny and thinking, wait a minute, you should be on your own. You should leave your home, especially if you're a man. You should be on your own and trying to create a life where, if you're going to get married one day, you will be mature enough and have enough responsibility to be able to handle a wedding, a marriage, not a wedding, but a marriage. So when I left home at that age, and I really, I made things happen. We were from a time where men had much more resilience. We were, I believe, more masculine, and we weren't soft as we today. I believe there's so much. One of the reasons why I believe people are splitting up so much is because there's a softness in our society. I talk about this on my videos, sometimes on YouTube. If you have followed me, and I hope you are, but make sure you're subscribed if you go there. But I talk about masculinity. I think masculinity is one of those things that is so lacking today. We need manly men, strong men, who can help to lead their family and lead their wives, lead their children. I believe we are missing that, and our society, when that goes, I believe our society also goes as well. We need stronger-minded men who can help lead their families in tough times, in difficult times, in down times, in crazy times, and give them hope and belief and so on. But anyway, she was saying how they have remained friends, and they were friends before they got married. And so they remained friends, and so the divorce. And she talked about the divorce as if it's, which I find today how interesting. People see divorce as almost like, a change of clothes. They've lost I believe, the sacredness and sanctity of marriage So marriage is looked upon in a way as if, well, okay, I got divorced and let's move on and find another relationship and get married again and divorce. And come on, is it any wonder our society is so messed up? Is it any wonder why people are, there's just a confusion in our about relationships and stability and legacy? I thank God my parents, they're both dead now, but they came from a time where you stayed married through thick and thin, right? Sickness and in health. They believed in the vows they made. And I think that's what is missing today. A lot of people don't believe in their vows. They make these vows, but they go through them as if, well, we just say what we want to say, but they don't really commit to that. There's not a commitment. And so I believe that people sometimes, I see it so often, they have this almost like instant idea of, love at first sight. Come on, love at first sight? You don't even know the person. How are you going to love them at first sight? That's another story for another time. I'll talk about that on another video. And if you would like to hear, let me know that you would like to hear about that. I also like to hear your thoughts so far. But, in this video that Haley made, it really caused me to think that, is it any wonder? Now, have there been exceptions? I go back to what I said earlier. I believe marriages in a certain era of time, many, many years ago, at 20, 21 years old, you were more mature. People were ready for life. They had a society and a community that were supportive of that and encouraging of that and believed that is what needs to happen. We're in a world today where that's not true anymore. It's almost like, you live, marriage is being pushed back to, and again, I have no problem with that. That's not the issue. But I do believe that sometimes people rush into a very serious decision. One of the most major, one of the most important decisions you make in your life is marriage. I believe sometimes people rush into marriage too quickly, and they haven't taken the time to prepare for marriage. It's amazing how people will take time to do all their research and legwork to buy a car and buy a house, and they don't do the same for their marriage. They somehow expect it's going to happen and going to work. My friend, it's not. You need to prepare for marriage. So I believe that people can get into these things, and I see why divorce is so high, because I'm not saying this is the only reason, but it's one of the reasons. They haven't prepared themselves. They haven't taken the time to get to know the other person. And I'm not talking about living together. That's another story again. I don't believe in that because, the studies have shown where people who live together before they, cohabit before they get married, living together, the chance of them having a long-term relationship and marriage is really less and less. The chances of divorce is higher than people who don't live together before they get married. So I do think that people can get into relationships too quickly. I think that if you are considering a relationship, let me strongly, I've been married for 38 years, thank God. And that's by God's grace. I'm not here sitting down thinking that I'm someone special and my relationship is such. No, it's God's grace. I think if God has been the one who sustained us, which is another story for another time, but I believe it's important to have God in your marriage. And I think that too many people today are not seeing marriage as a very serious, a very important, a very significant, a very, one of the most major decisions they've ever made in their lives. So can you get married too quickly? The answer is yes. Can you get married too early? Yes. Can you get married too young? Yes. And I hope that, something I said in this video, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I will do a more in-depth kind of video on my YouTube channel. And if you haven't been following me there, I hope you do and you subscribe. I would appreciate that very much. But let me hear your thoughts. Let me hear your thoughts on what I've just shared. And again, this is not to put Haley out there because, she already have done that. But it just really sparked this thought in my mind. And I came on here to share that with you. I'd love to hear your thoughts about what I just said. Okay, look forward to hearing from you. Let's engage. Let's have a conversation about this matter. Okay, thanks for listening, and God bless.